Hey, the Dodgers won a game. They figured out how to put some points on the board, and they did it with a lot of homers. We love dingers. Chicks dig the long ball. We're going to talk about this series. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about the Padres season series with the Dodgers, and we're also going to talk about a whole bunch of Dodgers players, potential bats, coming back to help this team and how it works roster-wise. Words are hard right now, but anyways, the point is this is all Dodgers. You get it. We'll get into it. We'll talk better right now. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast, and I don't even have my soundboard going. Man. Listen, it's been a day, clearly. I've been home alone all day, and this is the first time I'm really talking to people. I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to Jeff Snyder, who is my co-host here on this journey of the 2025 Dodgers season. Dodgers win today. We feel a lot better than you guys felt last night after Tyler Glasnow blew a game. That's what I'm going with because I want to talk crap about Glasnow later on. But guys, consider liking the show, subscribe to the channel. All Dodgers is part of the Bleav Network presented by FanDuel. We appreciate FanDuel. I'm going to get that up on the screen so everybody knows. Bleav, FanDuel, subscribe. Jeff, how you doing, my friend?
I am good. This season has been a journey, and this episode so far has been a journey.
Locked in, baby.
We've gotten this far. There's a decent chance we're going to get all the way through this thing. I feel like I may have to carry it a little bit based on how you're doing so far. But you know what? I'm used to putting you on my back and hauling this thing to the finish line. So we'll do it again.
Every day is leg day, man.
Yeah, when you're built like us, absolutely. The one thing that was nicer about last night is people were here. People wanted to talk about how mad they were, or even fans of that other team want to beat their chests a little bit. Hopefully, we can prove you wrong and prove that winning episodes can be just as good, just as profitable as losing episodes. Because you know what, it wasn't a successful series, but after the Dodgers lost the first two games, the best they could do was win 1 out of 3, and that's what they did. And it was a reasonably satisfying way to win too.
Yeah, I mean, the bats woke up today, and that's been the biggest issue in the series. They didn't really have much in the way of offense. Of course, last night only one hit off of nasty Nestor Cortez, which has got to be frustrating. Thank God I wasn't watching a whole bunch of that game. I would say I could watch highlights. There weren't really highlights out of that game. But today, focusing on that, 8 runs, 7 coming on the long ball. The other lone run that was not a homer was nearly a grand slam off the bat of Hyeseong Hernandez. Of course, 400-foot sack fly thanks to Ramon Laureano robbing that one.
And thanks to the 3-foot high fences in San Diego. It's like also 90% of the home run robberies you see happen either San Diego or Texas because they've got the baby fences.
It is fun to watch. I will say that much. But, we've had this conversation off and on. It still feels like a team that's maybe a little too reliant on the home run ball to get offense, to put points on the board, which people love me calling them points. Then again, that's just how this team is built. But what are your thoughts about how they got to 8 runs today?
I don't have a concern about being too home run reliant because, I know it is absolutely the opinion of a lot of people that what the Dodgers need to do is stop swinging for the fences. And I think that is too easy of an answer. And like most easy answers, it has everything you're looking for except accuracy. And the thing is, I think most hitters are going to be most successful with the swing they're most comfortable with. And the Dodgers aren't trying to hit home runs. They're trying to hit the ball hard, hit hard line drives. And whether you want to call it exit velocity and launch angle, like is common these days, or whether you want to call it hard line drives like we used to back in the good old days when baseball was baseball and men were men, it's the same thing. Hit a hard line drive. And now we know, 108.8 miles an hour at 18 degrees launch angle, that's going to be a hit 74% of the time. And so that's a good hard line drive. Just because we have numbers on it doesn't make it any less accurate or any more nerdy. The reason I picked those exact numbers are because I believe those were the numbers on Shohei Ohtani's lineout today, which is the other half of my point, which is that sometimes you hit a hard line drive and they catch it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a little bit more backspin and it goes over the wall, but sometimes it doesn't go over the wall and it just bounces off the wall and it's a double. But the fact is, like you said, Teo hit the sac fly. The one run they got that wasn't a home run, I would have much rather had 4 runs from a home run than 1 run from a non-home run in that situation. Because, if they're all just trying to hit home runs and they're striking out because they can't even make contact, that's an issue. I don't, and honestly, I Bleav that's what some people think is going on with this team. So I don't think that's what's going on with this team. I think they're just, running a bad luck, whatever it is. But I would always rather have them hitting hard line drives, even if they get caught, because that means there's a good chance next time it won't get caught.
I like one of the things Freddie Freeman was asked after the game. Of course, Freddie, big story is Dalton Rushing getting a massive dong today. But Freddie, of course, 2 homers to tie the game and then give them a more comfortable lead late in the game. He had said, he was asked, I think he hit one last night, 107 miles off the bat. The other 107 miles an hour off the bat today. He said the difference was it was a daytime game and the ball flew out, and that kind of proved to be a little bit of the difference there. But I would agree that it's more important to hit the ball hard and hopefully just not right at people. Or if it is going to be right at people, hopefully they're pretty bad at defending. But hey, the important thing is, again, Dodgers won this game. I saw somebody reacting in the chat to it's salvaging, or it's not really salvaging. Yeah, I mean, it is salvaging the fact that they didn't get swept. The Dodgers head back home to face the Reds, still technically in first place, if anything more technically, because they hold the season series advantage over the Padres. We'll talk more about them going head-to-head over the course of the season. But compared to where I was on Friday night, compared to where I was last night, and I'm assuming where you guys were at last night, this is the outcome I expected to happen. I didn't throw this take out there because I know how people don't understand nuance sometimes, and the nuance of me feeling last Monday night, and I have the receipts on my Slack where I send myself notes, but I was like, I was worried about the Dodgers sweeping the Padres at home last week because I just feared that baseball knew what was up, and baseball knew that the Padres had to at least take 2 in this series. I was honestly kind of expecting a Padres sweep in this series. It wasn't what I wanted. It's just what the gut feeling was telling me. Thankfully, I was wrong on the sweep, but, that's what I got out of that statement there. It's the Dodgers salvaged the series, and they are in first place in the National League West. So we should be happy about that.
Yeah, I saw a couple of things in the chat that I want to address. Nathan Gabriel Music Channel says, "Hey, Fat Boy, you lost the series." I'm going to need that guy to be more specific because there's 2 Fat Boys here.
What an idiot.
And neither of us lost the series.
What an idiot.
As of at some point in the past, neither of us is on the Dodgers anymore. So we didn't lose the series, but thank you. Right above that, Mike Link Music says, "It seems like the Dodgers haven't played well since Jeff joined the cast." I would just like to point out the Dodgers went 9-1 immediately after I joined this show. So whatever changed, it wasn't me. I was obviously good luck. Something else happened in early July because I came on in late June and the Dodgers went 9-1 after I showed up. So this isn't on me, but we do need to figure out what it is about this podcast that is making the Dodgers struggle.
Yeah, ideally we would want to have a little bit better, luck or better use our powers to probably for our own financial gain or something like that. If we have some sort of, spiritual control or whatever, being here talking about Dodger baseball, if we could will in some lottery numbers or something like that, I would appreciate it. But either way, Fat Guy, I appreciate what you said there. Coming from Fat Guy.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Let's talk a little bit more about today. Yamamoto was pretty dang exceptional. Pivetta was bailed out by his defense. Hell of a play from Ramon Laureano. Very good pickup for the Padres, this much we know. Pivetta didn't really have much of anything in that first inning and then cruised his way through the next 5. 2 things are linked here. Watching that first inning and who came up after the Teoscar Hernandez sac fly, 400-foot sac fly, which was not Max Muncy. Two things. It wasn't you coming and joining all Dodgers and the Dodgers going to crap. It's Max Muncy being missing for most of the last 2 months. That is a difference maker in this lineup, and we're going to talk more about him later. But when Alex Freeland, as fine of a ball player as he is, when Alex Freeland came up with 2 out at that point, or 1 out at that point, and the ducks full of the bases full of ducks. Actually, there wasn't even bases loaded. It was 2 on. I was like, oh God, this should be months. This really should be months.
Absolutely. So your assertion is that the Dodgers' poor play has had more to do with the players on the baseball field than the podcast?
This is breaking. This is, I know, huge.
I also want to throw something else out at you from today's game. Nick Pivetta, while he did cruise after that first inning, he allowed 7 hard hit balls, including 8 hard hit balls, including 7 after that first inning. Only one of those 8 hard hit balls turned into a hit, and that was Freddie Freeman's home run. There were 2 other barrels. We're talking, as far as exit velocity and launch angle, considered barrels that turned into outs. A line out by Conforto, the sac fly by Teo. Shohei Ohtani had a 108 mile an hour fly out off of him. He wasn't just bailed out by his defense. He got lucky. And that's not a criticism of Pivetta. In order to be a successful pitcher, you do have to get lucky sometimes, sometimes the hard hit balls go right at the fielders. But I do think if Pivetta pitched like this all the time, his numbers wouldn't look so good. Thankfully for the Padres, if you're a Padres fan, he doesn't pitch like this very often, but the Dodgers did hit the ball hard off of him, and it just, didn't work out for them, which is to say, even while, they only got 2 hits off of Pivetta, bringing their grand total for the weekend to 4 hits off of Padres starting pitchers. But this game didn't feel like those other games to me, even before the Dodgers came back, because they were hitting the ball hard. And it doesn't always even out in that game. It's always something you have to wait and look back. Okay, is this one of those games where, I could tell they were due because how hard they were hitting? Or I could tell they had wasted too many chances and this wasn't their day. You never know till the final game or till the final result of the game. But it did feel better than the other games, even before the scoreboard looked better than the other 2 games, if that makes sense.
We got a chat here from somebody not understanding the idea of salvaging a series. Looks like a Padres moron in the chat. But salvaged, you won 1 game, laughing my ass off. But they
literally
didn't get
what
swept.
It means, bro.
Yeah. If you salvage a series by not losing all of the games, I'm sorry baseball is still new to you, my friend, but we appreciate the click and you hanging out with Fat Guy 1, Fat Guy 2 here on the All Dodgers podcast. Please like and subscribe. It does help us out.
Which one of us is 1 and which one's 2?
I guess I started the channel. I should be 1. Damn. Hey, you guys come here for that hard-hitting back and forth between me and that guy over there. Other good news if we want to talk about in the series, and I think overall we could talk more like kind of silver linings and frustrations in the reactions to the series. The Dodgers got to the San Diego bullpen, obviously, to make this win happen today. 4 earned runs on Jeremiah Estrada. He also was pretty bad against the Dodgers overall in the series. I think he allowed 5 earned. Not one of their ace relievers, but very much one of Mike Schilt's dogs in there. An earned run on Wandy Peralta today, earned run on Yuki Matsui today, and kind of a theme for the series as we shift into more series reactions. They kind of made the bullpen work to a degree, and this is that vaunted Padres bullpen that's supposed to be so good. Mason Miller, a couple walks on Friday. Robert Suarez, of course, 2 hits allowed in his 9th inning, where he eventually earned the save. But the Dodgers were knocking on the door of tying that game up or potentially going ahead in that series. So I could look at that, understanding that the Padres made a lot of noise in the additions that they made. Well, really one addition to the bullpen in Mason Miller, but how good that bullpen is supposed to be. I take a little bit of solace in knowing that this very, I wouldn't say very bad version of the Dodgers lineup, but again, you're missing some very key pieces in that roster, on that roster. They were able to make those guys kind of sweat. That's a silver lining for me. That's a good thing to make that bullpen work. Thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of I made the point after the trade deadline that a relief pitcher can only add so much value to a team, especially a team that already has a good bullpen. Yes, Mason Miller was the best relief pitcher, at least the most talented relief pitcher traded at the trade deadline. But when you have a bullpen that you're already going to win 95% of the games that you head to the late innings with the lead, and now it's 97 because you got Mason Miller. I said at the trade deadline, this Mason Miller probably adds one win to the Padres for the rest of the season total. And yeah, it may come down to that one win. Right now, the Dodgers and Padres are tied. So yeah, one win could end up being very important, but there's only so much value that a relief pitcher can add. And I think we've seen that here. And because sometimes, Mason Miller can't pitch every game. He only pitched in one. He and Suarez both only pitched in one game in this series, which, limits the impact they can have on the series. It does mean they're rested for their series against the Mariners, coming up. So that's good for them. But all in all, like Mason Miller had very little impact on this series. He did help the Padres win the first game because the two guys he walked in his one inning of work didn't come around to score. But, it's probably if we had the technology to compare how that game on Friday went versus how it would have gone if they hadn't traded for Mason Miller, there's like 1 out of 500 games where it turns out differently and the Dodgers lose because the Padres have Mason Miller, or they win because they don't. It's a very small impact, which is why I didn't stress as much about the relief pitching as a lot of people, even though, we've seen the Dodgers bullpen definitely needs help, but they're getting healthy too. But all of that to say, relievers can only have so much impact on a game. And what the Dodgers did well today was not let it get to the super high leverage Padres relievers because the Padres didn't have a late inning lead.
Yep.
And, they could have gone to Mason Miller in the 7th inning when it's a tie game, but then if you end up losing that game anyway, then you've burned Miller. It's all the stuff a manager has to think about. And who knows if Schilt made the right call or not. But the fact that the Dodgers were able to avoid those guys today and capitalize on getting to face Estrada, who's good against everybody except the Dodgers. And, you mentioned Matsui's run that he gave up. Ohtani's home run was a thing of beauty because you could see in his brain, I know they're going to try to strike me out with a high fastball here. So I'm just going to sit on the high fastball and I'm going to hit it 400 feet. It's just knowing that Shohei has that in his back pocket made me happy. I remember when Cody Bellinger did that one time. He hit a high fastball out. Cody can still turn on a high fastball? That could come in handy at some point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Carlos saying in the chat, you're talking about, one reliever probably is not going to help a team as much as you think. Ramon Laureano has been a fantastic addition for the Padres. Robbed a homer today. He's hit a couple homers since joining the team against the Dodgers. An everyday player makes a big difference for sure. I just wanted to point that out there, in case we have Padres idiots who join us and are like, oh, these guys don't know anything about the Padres or whatever. It's like, no, Padres are a very good team. We believe in our hearts the Dodgers are still going to end up being the better team. It would help if they have, most of their missing talent back. But I digress on that. You got anything else to add on the bullpen side of things or pitching before I move into my one frustration because I wasn't on the show last night to complain about Tyler Glasnow?
No, let's hear your frustration about the game you didn't watch.
All right, guys, let me tell you something. On Friday night, towards the end of the stream, I had one thing. I needed to see something out of Tyler Glasnow in his start. I didn't want to hear no BS excuses from him. I just wanted to see him go out there and at least keep his team in the game. More so, I wanted to see him dominate. I needed to see him get through 5 or 6 innings. 4 walks, 4 innings, done, 3 earned runs. and then there's the excuses like, oh, I lost feeling of blah, 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 or whatever. Jeff, you and I were talking about this before the show, that like, would you rather hear the cliche baseball talk of like, oh, just, whatever, like Kershaw would say, like, I just didn't have it today. I just suck today. Move on or whatever. Honestly, I would kind of, I just got to be better. I would rather hear that than hear another Tyler Glasnow excuse, because the boy is just filled with excuses. Oh, they changed the sticky stuff on the baseball. Oh, the doctors didn't diagnose my torn elbow ligament well enough. This is everybody else's fault but mine. No, just sometimes go out there, shut up, and pitch and do better. And where I'm at, my thing, I think I had said on Friday, it's like he's pitching for a spot in the postseason rotation. I understand we can sit here and assume and presume that he is going to be the dude who gets one of those top 4 spots in the rotation. But I'll ask you this. If it came down to Tyler Glasnow or Clayton Kershaw in a postseason rotation right now, based on what we've seen out of them so far this season, who are you taking? And I know this is a tough, it should be a tougher decision for you. And I'm hoping now that we're live, it's slightly more tough.
No, it is, you want to put me in this situation. I respect that. We're friends. You like to see me sweat. It's not hard to see me sweat. I am fat guy number 2. I do my fair share of sweating. I would choose Tyler Glasnow, and I'll tell you why. I think what you see as excuses is just Tyler Glasnow answering questions honestly, and not that that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think when somebody asks him, why did you suck today? He is explaining why he sucked today, and while maybe it would be more satisfying to hear him say, oh, it doesn't matter. I just got to be better. There's things I need to work on. I'll have identified them and I'm going to work on them. In the end, that doesn't actually have any impact on his performance. It's not like he's out there saying, it's okay if I suck right now because I have a good excuse to tell the reporters after the game. No, he's trying to be good. And for the most part, he's been really good. Yeah, he walked too many guys. I really do think the long at bat against Arise really kind of put him in a situation where, for whatever reason, he lost command after that. It was weird. He threw like 10 straight pitches in the strike zone to Arise, and then the next inning couldn't throw strikes. But all in all, the reason I would take Glasnow is because he has better strikeout stuff. And I think strikeout stuff becomes more important in the postseason. I love Clayton Kershaw more than any of you do. Clayton Kershaw is my favorite player of all time. If I wasn't done having kids, I would name my next kid after Clayton Kershaw. Instead, I'm just going to name my first grandkid after Clayton Kershaw, whether it's a boy or a girl.
Do you have that power?
I've already told my kids.
Okay.
I'm naming your first kid. Your first daughter will be named Clayton. I'm sorry. But in the postseason, where you're facing better teams, where a home run can bite you more, where, all those things, I think strikeout stuff is important. I think the ability to dig in and get a strike. And I think Clayton Kershaw is going to play an important role in the Dodgers postseason. But for me, it's not as one of the 4 starters. It's as a guy, and maybe he's the guy who's ready. If Glasnow does have a crappy Glasnow day and you have a quick hook, if you want to say when, we've never seen him in the postseason for the Dodgers yet.
That's fair. Which is another reason why I'm like,
and I get that. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'd go Glasnow and have a quick hook. If it's the 3rd inning and you can tell this is one of those days, great. You're out of there. Kershaw, you're in for the next 5 innings, and we'll try to get through the game that way. But for me, I think the guy with better strikeout stuff has a better chance of being successful against postseason teams.
Clayton Kershaw has 3,000 strikeouts in his career. He has strikeout stuff, just not the same, of course.
How many strikeouts does 2025 Clayton Kershaw have?
Listen. Get out of here with your facts and logic, all right? I agree home runs hurt you. I think solo homers hurt you less than a bunch of walks. And Clayton Kershaw very famously isn't huge. When his elbow is all the way together and his knee works and all this kind of stuff, I completely throw out that ill-fated Game 1 start against the Diamondbacks in 23. That doesn't count to me. But for Kershaw, famously, historically, Hall of Famely, he does not walk dudes often. And that is where I'm like, I would rather have somebody who can keep us in the game, keep a team in the game in that capacity, rather than give up a bunch of free passes and then also potentially be homer prone. Either way, it feels like a very good problem to have for this team. But right now, I am personally frustrated with Tyler Glasnow because this was a big opportunity to see him for the first time as Dodgers fans in a playoff atmosphere, and he failed. To me, he failed.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's not a playoff atmosphere. It's a game in August against the Padres. I don't think.
Go ask those players, though. Go ask those players. Well, I mean, Dodgers are going to say it's just a game in August, but playoff atmosphere.
I don't think he walked guys because the crowd was cheering loud. It's just it was one of those games, and he does have the highest walk rate he's had since his time on the Pirates when he was a bad pitcher. It's almost twice as high as it was last year. Maybe that's part of why I still prefer him, because I still believe in the next 4 or 5 weeks before the season ends, I think he's going to figure that out more. I think whether it's mechanical or whatever, I think it's more likely that Glasnow fixes his walk issues than that Kershaw fixes his strikeout issues.
Give me outs.
And
give me outs either way.
Yeah, and I hope you're right. If Kershaw earns that spot, I'll be rooting harder for him than anybody. I hope you're right. I just think that right now with the stuff, I think stuff matters. And I think Tyler Glasnow
in the postseason, I agree. But I also believe in the whole idea of, what the Dodgers like to preach of meritocracy. And if Kershaw has, since he's come back from injury, gone out there every 5 or 6 days and posted, and for the greater part been the most consistent pitcher on this staff, they got to find a way to shoehorn him in there. And chances are likely that people aren't going to be happy with this statement, but chances are likely the Glasnow thing will figure itself out, and he'll sprain his hair before the postseason, and it won't be an issue. But
we figured it out, folks. Clint is jealous of Tyler Glasnow's hair.
Oh God, now that flowing hair, the amount of stupid questions we saw over his first couple of months, doing like Fan Fest and everything. Like, oh God, I hate.
I'll tell you what, baseball people definitely have a tendency to confuse quantity with quality when it comes to hair. You know?
Yeah.
Tyler Glasnow's hair is fine. It's mostly just a lot, more than,
very fluffy.
Yeah. Jacob deGrom used to have fluffy hair. It looked terrible. He looked like a dog, Dustin May's hair, awful. Absolutely
it's
awful.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
They used to, who was Matt Strom? I've heard people say Matt Strom has good hair. No, he has long hair. Matt Strom looks like every homeless person I ever met growing up in Lake Elsinore. And that's a lot.
So how do we quantify good long hair then? This is what the show's about now.
It's all about how good is it? It has to look good. And I know that's the eye of the beholder.
Brian Wilson.
Oh, Brian Wilson, nothing about that dude was it. But the worst thing about him was those creepy eyes. Like he grew the beard to distract people from his creepy eyes.
Guys, let us know what you think about pitcher's hair and the importance that it carries for a pitcher or a player.
Somebody on Twitter, I posted a picture of me and my wife from our wedding day, and somebody on Twitter said, "Wow, you've always been fat and bald." I'm like, I didn't get fat till I was 9 or 10. And so, I haven't always been fat. I've only been fat for the last 40 years or so.
Coward.
And I'm still not bald, bro. So I'm like, you were wrong twice in 6 words. That's impressive.
Well, you know how it is. We wear hats on here, so that insinuates that we're bald.
Yeah. Do you remember when we did the show, you, me, Doug, and Vince did a show from the winter meetings?
Yeah.
And I didn't have my hat that day.
Yeah.
And somebody commented, said, I always just assumed Jeff wore a hat because he was bald. How come Jeff has hair?
Nick S says, "Show us your hair when we get to 20,000 subscribers." No, no. Listen, we got to gamify this. When we get to
All right.
20,000 subscribers, we will do a hatless episode.
Fat guy number 1 laid down the law.
Hell yeah. Come on, Gamify. We're trying to get clicks and subscriptions out of this. So, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see us do a hatless episode of the show. Quickly, I think this one fits very well. Paul Vaughn had sent us a $2 super chat earlier in the chat. Thank you very much, Paul. But asking about Roki Sasaki. Will we see... I should probably push the button. Will we see Sasaki as a starter when he returns? Yes.
In Oklahoma City.
Yeah, when he returns, I think insinuates to the big league club. I would not be surprised, as you've kind of even said too. I think he gets like 1 or 2 starts maybe, and I think that is where you can view Emmett Sheehan in the bullpen, just so you can have him take down some bullpen innings, because Emmett Sheehan's role for the team in the postseason is going to be in the bullpen, so get him used to it, and maybe Roki Sasaki comes up, gets 1 or 2 starts, but I don't think he's any sort of factor in the postseason rotation or in the postseason, on the staff as a whole, outside of being on the taxi squad.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't be surprised at all if he doesn't return to the major league roster until 2026. I wouldn't be surprised if they just say, no, all right, you're going to be a starter in Oklahoma City the rest of the year once you are healthy and ready to go, and go from there, figure it out for next year. Because and some of it probably just depends on how the division race is looking, because and how Roki's looking for that matter. But he's definitely not an option to start in October unless a lot of things go wrong.
Push the wrong button there. Sydney said, I don't see Roki coming back this year. Also, Mike Doomsal saying, I don't think he returns. He's going to finish the year with OKC. And that might be the smarter plan for him, especially if they are still trying to kind of refine the mechanics and all that kind of stuff, which it seems like they are very much trying to do. Jenny also wants to see the hatless episode, so everybody make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers here on the channel. All right, so the
I wonder
Dodgers,
if we have anything good we could offer if we get 20,000, other than us taking our hats off.
I don't know. I mean, probably.
I've got a Hyeseong Hernandez autographed rookie card here. We'll give it away when we get to 20,000.
I mean, I guess I hate doing the giveaways, mostly because I know the place that I worked for last got a lot of bogus subscribers out of giveaways. So that's kind of my thing. But if we're announcing it just here on the podcast, that means at least they're already with us.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're going to use our powerful social media, not naming any names or anything. We're going to use our powerful social media presence to sucker people into subscribing our channel and then never watching
people
it.
who are already watching us.
Yeah.
And you got to watch to find out who wins the card,
Yeah. And by the Alexander Rhodes says shirts off at 50K. You know what? F it. We ain't getting to 50K. And if we are, we're going to be just ripped.
I'm going to have to get one of those, the muscle shirts that, who was it, from the dress up day where Joey Gallo didn't bother putting on one of the costumes.
But JT and Cody had him, right? Yeah, that was a chef's kiss. By the way, if people want to hear me complain more about things or whatever, you should tune into our upcoming first members only live stream that is coming up on this coming Thursday, August 28th. You have to be a supporter of the channel on Discord or through YouTube members. Links are in the description below. It's $5 a month to join us. You also get access to our Discord. Did I say Discord? Patreon. Or YouTube members, but you get access to our Discord where it's a lot of fun watching these Dodgers games with people melting down all together. As a family, you'll have a good time doing it. We got $2 from Cole, by the way. It says t-shirts, hats for fats. I need one. I'll need one. I'll push the button. Is that a thing? I'm lost.
I don't know. Hats for fats.
Hats for fats. I mean, it sounds like a thing.
We've talked about hats and fat people. So
chest waxing at 50K.
I'll tell you what. I don't have much chest hair, guys. So that's
Let's get back on track with this one. This is supposed to be a Dodger show, not a hat and hair show. But the Dodgers and the Padres are done facing each other unless they face each other again in the postseason. What are your thoughts on the season series as a whole?
It's kind of funny because the Dodgers won 9 out of 13 games, went 9-4. That feels like the Dodgers dominated the season series. And the Padres won 2 out of 3 this weekend, which feels like they dominated this weekend series. And yet the Dodgers outscored the Padres this weekend. And in the season series, 4 of the 5 one-run games went the Dodgers' way. And so there's a couple hits in either direction that both of these series, the Dodgers very easily could have won this series with a better timed hit or two. And the Padres very easily could have at least made the season series a lot closer. This series wasn't the mismatch that the 9-4 record would show it to be. And I think that kind of represents these teams. I think the Dodgers are a better team than the Padres, but not as much better as they have been in previous years. Good news is Dodgers were a much better team than the Padres in 2022, and then they lost to the Padres in the postseason.
Yeah.
Of course, the Dodgers were a much better team than the Padres in 2020 and 2024 too, and they beat the Padres in the postseason in those years. So, the regular season only matters so much as far as once we get to October.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think these two teams are a lot closer than the 9-4 record would suggest.
Yeah, and one of the things that helps me feel a little bit better, and part of the narrative of mine and Kevin's stream on Friday, where he Kevin was hell bent on making sure everybody tried to see the positive of the team we saw face these Padres over the last couple of weeks at least. Is not the team that is going to the postseason because they were missing a lot of key pieces. And of course, we are going to talk about the roster and players coming back shortly, probably about 5-10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. So guys, stick with us. But knowing that this team is going to be a lot better, they're going to have Max Muncy, they're going to have Kiké Hernandez, they're going to have Tommy Edman back in the mix, maybe Hyeseong Kim playing some sort of role instead of your Buddy Kennedys, instead of Michael Conforto starting basically every game. That's where I feel a lot better about particularly a series like this. I think that one batter, that one thing you're talking about, there's a couple of hits. If things were just a little bit different, the season series could have shifted one way or the other. Having those key players back, those key components for the Dodgers. And of course, I mean, Padres are missing Jackson Merrill, so they have their own issues, but the Dodgers not having Max Muncy very clearly is a massive issue for them. So that's where I feel good about if these two teams do face off again in October. Dodgers ideally should listen to us and be the better team and have the upper hand because they have the better roster and the more talent and the more MVPs and the more all-stars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat say the Dodgers aren't better than the Padres right now, and I agree with that. Probably fair. Like the way the Dodgers have played the last 7 games, no, they're not. But also, the Padres scored fewer runs than the Dodgers this weekend. As frustrated as we are as Dodger fans with the Dodgers offense this weekend, Padres scored even fewer runs. As frustrated as we are with Tyler Glasnow, the Padres gave up more runs than the Dodgers did this weekend. And so all in all, we noticed the flaws in our own favorite team, and we noticed the opposite of flaws in the team that's chasing us, and that's the nature of fandom. But this isn't the Dodgers aren't who we've seen the last 7 games. Talent-wise, they're going to do better. I have to believe that.
I agree. I feel like I want to pull up Carl's chat here, mostly because I have Dalton rushing as the thumbnail of this video, and I don't think we talked enough about Dalton's homer today, but saying stay real with rushing. Good job today, but he's now hitting only 187 compared to Mike Conforto's hitting 183. I think more so the question I have for you, when it comes to Dalton rushing and that dinger, it seemed like he finally got the A swing off that we were expecting from AAA. Is this the type of swing, in your opinion? And I don't think you don't think this way. I know you don't think this way, but one swing can make or break a player's season because you find something. Do you think this is something that gets him on the track that we were hoping he would be on?
It definitely could be. And he's had one at bat since that home run, and he hit the ball even harder. His line out to right field, he just didn't hit it quite as high. But home run was 104.6. The line out was 104.8. He put 2 really good swings on, and both of them were barreled up. They were going to be hits, extra base hits most of the time. The second one happened to go right at Tatis, which is fine, But one of the reasons that I would never look just at batting average between rushing and Conforto and compare them is Conforto is he's had all year to try to hit at a level that he's been playing at for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Whereas rushing has had a month and a half of irregular playing time at a brand new level, playing at the highest level in the world for the first time. The fact that he already has a better batting average than Michael Conforto tells me that he is a much better hitter than Conforto overall. And that's what we're going to see. I believe Dalton Rushing is going to be a very good major league hitter. And I'm basing that on the fact that he's been a very good hitter every other level that he's ever played at in his entire life. And yeah, there's growing pains, especially when you are not getting to play every day and not even close to every day. But Dalton Rushing can hit. Yeah. I am sure of that. I don't know if it's going to be, one of the best hitters in baseball level or just solid regular player level, but it's definitely going to be better than backup catcher level.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the type of swing he got off today is definitely one of those ones that at the bare minimum helps him feel a lot better moving forward. It helps the confidence feel a lot better moving forward. He even said it afterwards in the postgame to David Vassegh. I like what he said to David Vassegh because DV asked him, like, was this more important to you or more important to the team? And he's like, team. This is all about the team. That's the right answer. Don't make it about yourself. But they were showering that boy with everything they had in that clubhouse before they hopped on that bus back up to LA, and that's pretty good. And it's pretty good to see Dalton Rushing finally getting a little bit of success, even if he's still only hitting a $187. He's not going to be doing that for the rest of his career. At least we hope not. Before we move on and actually talk injury updates, understand we usually when I put together a show, I bury the lead, and I apologize to that to people, but appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate everybody being here with us. We do have some voicemails, people sharing their thoughts. If you guys want to get in on the voicemail, I'm not going to take any new voicemails for the show today because my setup is a little funky, but we do have 3 voicemails. The next episode we will do. Maybe we'll do voicemails on the Thursday watch party. We'll figure that one out. But, stay tuned, everybody, on when the next time we're doing voicemails. But we appreciate people calling in. First, let's listen to our buddy Alex Rose, who has some thoughts about this team over the weekend and today.
Alexander Rose here with another voicemail. First off, let's by saying good job, Dodgers. Good job, Kevin. Good job, Jeff. And good job, Clint. Now that that's out of the way, I finally woke up. About damn time. Feels like forever since the offense really woke up again, even though we had it in Colorado. It feels good today. Padres don't sweep. Yamamoto shoves. Our starting pitching looks great. The bullpen is actually locking stuff down. We got guys coming back. And the only down part about this team, I feel like going forward, should always be Michael Conforto, unfortunately. We're all sick of it. We've seen enough. There's no more else to see. I'm done with the experiment. Everyone's done with the experiment. But overall, good job, boys. Good job. Way to go out on a positive note to end the series. I did actually have the Padres taking 2 out of 3, and that's exactly what happened.
It was his fault.
So, hey, I'm happy that we didn't get swept. I'm happy what we can look forward to still. We still have a month, guys. We still have a month. Okay, let's lock in. Let's all get ready because postseason baseball is pretty much here, if you ask me. So, anyways, guys, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And deuces.
Appreciate the love and the support from Alexander Rose on the channel. It's funny him saying the postseason's already here, and you and I were talking before the show about the strength of schedule for both the Dodgers and the Padres moving forward, and honestly, it's gonna dip pretty hard. Like the best teams the Dodgers will be facing, or at least probably the most lively games, are going to be the 7 games they play against the Giants down the stretch. But it's a lot of Rockies, Phillies.
They have a series against the Phillies.
Yeah, Phillies is the biggest one. The Diamondbacks very much want to beat the Dodgers, and then they end the season in Seattle against the Mariners, who are, they're fighting for the AL West over there against the Houston Astros. But other than that, Dodgers probably facing Paul Skeens and the Pirates or whatever. The Padres, it's Orioles, bad team. Rockies, bad team. Mets, bad team in the second half. White Sox, bad team. Diamondbacks, bad team to end the season. They do face the Brewers for 3, the second to last week, or the last full week of the season. The Reds are mixed in there, of course, who are playing for a wild card spot. So it's going to be kind of a little bit of just like a slap and tickle fight for both these teams the rest of the way. You just hope the Dodgers are better at slapping and tickling than the
That's
Padres
all I ever
are.
hope.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the Dodgers can take care of business against the Reds, and the Mariners can take care of business against the Padres to get a little bit of breathing room in this division. Love it if the Dodgers could, be up by a game or two after the, 3 days from now, and kind of start to, so at least put a little pressure on the Padres that they actually have to fight back. Right now it's tied. Dodgers have the tiebreaker. So in a way, the Dodgers are up by a game, but I would like to see a little bit more breathing room for sure.
Ivy Stroken likes the slap and tickle in there. Listen, everybody, who doesn't love a good slap and tickle? We got a voicemail from our buddy Richie. Let's hear what Richie has to say.
Oh, hey, Clint. By the time you play this voicemail, the series will be over, thank God. But here are my takes. The Padres are not our problem. The Padres are not a team that has done anything to us other than take advantage of our own stupidity. The Dodgers are the ones that blew the 9-game lead. The Dodgers are the one that are expanding the strike zone. Our Dodger offense is more pathetic and putrid than just the mere existence of Manny Machado itself. We're constantly swinging at fastballs that are up in the strike zone. Teoscar himself is striking out on so many high fastballs, it's pathetic. Ohtani has been going down every game, every at-bat, every day on pitches and sweepers that are down in the way, and he's constantly going fishing for them. And all we're hearing out of Doc and other players is we need to do better. We need to do better. I like to compete. I like how the ball was coming out of his hand. Well, talk is cheap, and that and 50 cents will buy you a cup of coffee. So here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that baseball is a mentally tough game, and right now we're not as mentally tough as we should be. I believe in Ohtani. I believe in Betts. I believe in Will Smith, and I believe in Teoscar. I'm the one that pounded all off season to bring him back. And even though he's having a bad year, I'll go down with the ship with him every season that he's here. And essentially, I will drown like Leonardo DiCaprio did at the end of the Titanic movie, because that bitch Kate Winslet didn't have the constant courtesy to move over so that Jack wouldn't have died of death of hypothermia. But I digress. And if this continues to go this way, if they don't get any better, well, then they just look like the bunch of pussies that they look like, because they're not using their talent and their God-gifted ability to snap out of it, because they're not making the adjustments. And finally, shout out to Diane Schroeder for doing God's work in the chat. She has been fighting off all of the Padre trolls for the last 2-3 weeks, and she deserves a ton of credit, because she believes in Clint, she believes in the channel, she believes in the Dodgers, and God bless her, and we all owe her a big, huge thank you. See ya.
Hey, there we go. Some love for Diane from Richie. Richie brought down our positive vibes, man. What's going on here?
Yeah, it didn't bring down my vibes, but Teoscar Hernandez this weekend did not strike out on a pitch out of the zone a single time. Teoscar's issue is he's swinging and missing at pitches in the zone.
It's a problem.
As I said yesterday, I don't think it has anything to do with mental toughness or anything. It has to do with not hitting the ball. And I think it's way too easy to say somebody choked or somebody doesn't have what it takes or they're mentally weak or whatever, when really, you know what? Sometimes you're in a slump. Sometimes the pitcher wins. Sometimes you're bad, in the case of Michael Conforto. Whatever it is, if it was as easy as mental toughness, what if both teams wanted it the exact same amount? Would the game just go forever? Like it's tied up. 3 weeks later, this game is still tied because
That's the
both
game that never
teams
ends.
wanted both teams showed up, fired up, and wanted exactly. No, you got to play better than the other teams, and that means hitting pitches that are in the strike zone. Yes, Shohei has swung and missed at too many pitches in the dirt this year, but also guys got to hit pitches that are in the strike zones. Will Smith, we saw too many guys looking at strike 3 this weekend, which is the opposite of chasing pitches out of the zone. It's, you just got to play baseball better.
Breaking news. Play baseball better. By the way, Leo could not have fit on that door off the Titanic, but they could have stacked. Come on.
Was there any evidence that they were willing to be that close to each other physically?
You really got to watch the whole movie.
More to the point.
Uh-huh.
How did Rose's granddaughter think this was some romantic story when the whole point of the story is, your grandpa who I was married to for 1,000 years? I never loved him as much as that hobo who I met on a boat for 3 days. That's the real love of my life.
But that makes a better story for them two, not like, the lie she was living all of her life. Guys, hit that like button for Titanic talk here.
Also, having tried to get back up on a paddleboard after I had fallen off once, it's not that easy to get up onto something from the water. Rose wasn't strong enough to lift Leo up, especially how waterlogged he was,
This is fair. I'll tell you, big boy over here, fat guy 1. I don't jump off the pontoon every year.
This is the timely content you guys are here for.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Bold analysis of a 1998 movie.
But our heart will go on, and our heart will digress. Appreciate Richie calling in. We got a voicemail also from Noah to wrap up our voicemails for the evening. Let's go ahead and listen to what Noah has to say.
Well, what up, guys? That's Noah, as you know. And I got to say, guys, this series proved something. We need home field advantage. So, literally earlier in the game when Teoscar hit that sac fly in the first inning, everybody thought it was a grand slam. That would have been a grand slam at Dodger Stadium. Yesterday, Freddie Freeman hit a ball off Nestor Cortez dead center that would have been a homer at Dodger Stadium. And then, 2 days ago when Ohtani hit the ball really hard, that also would have been a homer at Dodger Stadium. We need Dodger Stadium with how reliant on the home run ball the Dodgers are. And San Diego exposed something that we've all known, and that is that small ball really works against Dodgers. I personally am afraid of the Brewers because that's what's gotten them the wins, the small ball. So we got to go back to Dodger Stadium. We have to win the division, and we got to listen to Jeff here. So have a good one, guys. Bye.
Appreciate it, Noah. I can't believe we made it this far into the show. We haven't talked about the division odds. What's going on here, Jeff?
So yesterday, Kevin and I pointed out the division odds had gotten close, really close, over on FanDuel. Dodgers yesterday, I believe Dodgers were minus 120 to win the division, and the Padres were minus 115. I know they were only 5 apart. Both were in the minuses, meaning they were both. Betting is the only place where two teams can be favored.
Apparently.
Well, this win, as we mentioned, the Dodgers are now technically in the lead for the division because they have the tiebreaker, so they're effectively a game ahead of the Padres, and the betting lines reflect that. The Dodgers right now, at this moment, are minus 175 to win the division. Padres are at plus 130. Still a lot closer than it was, say, a week ago after the Dodgers completed their sweep of the Padres. Definitely a lot closer than it was, 4 weeks ago when the Dodgers were up by 9 games, whenever that was.
Yeah.
But Dodgers back in control. Like Kevin and I talked about yesterday, the Dodgers and Padres are done playing each other for the year, which means now the Padres have to rely on other teams to help them win the division.
Yep.
The Dodgers can take care of business themselves. That's all you can ask for as a team, is to be in the situation where if we do our thing, we will win the division. And because right now the Padres could win every game the rest of the year, and as long as the Dodgers do too, Dodgers win the division. So that's what the Dodgers should do, is just win every game, because I suspect the Padres won't win every game. So the Dodgers should. That's what they should do.
I like the way you think. It's real simple. It's real smooth. Just win baseball games. Just win, baby, win. And you're going to be happy at the end of the season. JRM asking, but will they? There's the $1 billion question. And they're getting some help. They're getting some help back that might help them win more games. So why don't we shift a little focus towards roster talk? You guys, I love rosterbation here, and I also love it more when we are, in my opinion, finally in the official Michael Conforto endgame. There's just nowhere for him to go. The dude is cornered, and he can't hit his way out of being either relegated to the bench or very soon designated for assignment. But Kiké Hernandez is coming back in this Reds series. Dodgers going back home to face the Reds. Welcome the Reds to Dodger Stadium. And they're saying early in the series, which is either tomorrow or Tuesday. It's going to be tomorrow. There's no reason to not have him back tomorrow, which pretty much means bye-bye Buddy Kennedy. Sorry, Clifton Lewis Kennedy. Got to make sure I get that right. We'll talk more. Let me set the stage a little bit further. Also today, we got an update. David Vassay on the SNLA pregame pointing out that Max Muncy is about to start taking some swings, and in his opinion is maybe about 10 days away, if all goes well, 10 days away from rejoining the roster, which would be massive to get Max Muncy back for this stretch run. Again, taking live BP this week. We do have a tweet about that. And then going to go out on a rehab assignment, probably a very short rehab assignment like he did last time, 1 or 2 games. I guess before he was kind of able to keep the rotational going with the knee down, but I trust Max Muncy to be able to kind of just show up and hit water falling out of a boat. But all of these people coming back, we know at some point, Hyeseong Kim, he's on a rehab assignment as well. We know Tommy Edman down the road. There's going to be some tough roster decisions, maybe some easier ones before it gets to tough, but who's in, who's out, that is going to eventually be the question as more players come back in the presumed order. I think, it's going to be Hernandez, Muncy, Kim, Edman. You and I were discussing before the show. It seems like odd that it would be Muncy before Hyeseong Kim because Kim is on a rehab assignment.
Kim's already on rehab, yeah. And maybe that's because they're thinking, hey, Kim, your rehab assignment's up. Now keep working on this new swing in AAA.
And that's what I think it's going to be. That's the excuse to hold him back a little bit longer. And, we know the talent is there to defend and be a speed factor on the base paths. But if they're going to have Hyeseong Kim on this roster, he needs to be able to hit a baseball, kind of move it forward, which he's done well at AAA so far. But last time I checked, AAA is not the major leagues, so there's a little bit different there. But immediately, Buddy Kennedy, bye. He's not going to be an issue. I would assume it's going to be like Justin Dean for Max Muncy. Maybe that's sort of an argument there. And then it comes down to, once you get to the Kim or the Edman, Alex Freeland versus Michael Conforto. How long do they want to kick the Conforto can down the road? I think it's going to go that route. It's going to be those two kind of battling it out. I Bleav it should be Alex Freeland on the roster. Do you think they're going to continue to make this more painful than it needs to be?
I'm going to be bold. I don't. In fact, I don't think it's even going to take as long as you said. I think when Muncy comes back, that's when Conforto goes, because Kiké coming back, you boot Buddy Kennedy, Kiké can play third base. Mm-hmm. When Muncy comes back, you no longer need Kiké at third base, which means Kiké is now an outfielder. At that point, you don't need Kiké to be the outfielder who never plays. Justin Dean can keep that role. You need Kiké to be the outfielder who plays, meaning Michael Conforto, see ya. And I honestly think at that point, when Muncy comes back, that's when they go Kiké in center, Pages in right, Teo in left, and Conforto at home. And that, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if, that would line up with it being into September. Not that I think the Dodgers have ill will towards Michael Conforto, but, we were talking the other day about how they don't have the same goodwill that they had towards Jason Hayward last year when they said, okay, we're going to dump Hayward early so that he can catch on with another team before the postseason. I think I think the Dodgers don't want Michael Conforto to have any opportunity to catch on with another team. I think it's just going to be, hey, you know what? It's September 1st now, September 2nd. You're DFA'd. Go home for the year. You're not our problem anymore. But I think it's going to happen when I think Justin Dean lasts longer on this roster than Michael Conforto.
And I mean, I don't hate that. I think at some point you need to rip the Band-Aid off. You need to well, I'm just to stick with rip the Band-Aid off. And I mean, this Band-Aid is nasty. It should have been taken off months ago if we're talking about Mike Conforto here. The easiest one, again, Buddy Kennedy. But yeah, keeping Justin Dean on, because I really do like that end-of-game defense that they've been running out there when they actually have a lead, when Dave's been running out when they have a lead. But I agree. Like with Kiké coming back, you have somebody who can play some third. They've already said that he's going to be. Dave said that he's going to be somebody. Kiké Hernandez is somebody who gets some opportunities in left field, which definitely tells you Conforto, start at least slowly packing your bags a little bit. But at some point, there's okay. Now it's going to come down to. You're trying to get everybody back. Tommy Edman obviously needs to be on this roster, so that will be the Justin Dean move eventually, which is good, which is fine, which we love. But what about when it comes to Hyeseong Kim versus Alex Freeland? That is where I think there's going to be the biggest kind of the most difficult roster decision for this team. I really like Alex Freeland as a player. I think Hyeseong Kim has a bit more dynamic features when it comes to the speed in particular. Really, really strong arm. Not to say Freeland doesn't have a strong arm. Both can play second. We haven't seen Kim at third, but you're already going to have utility dudes in Kiké and whatever. And in the postseason, you don't really need somebody to play everywhere. You just need to have good players who can do something very well. Good players.
You need to have what?
Good players, living players. Yeah. That's players that could do things, particular skills very well, which Hyeseong Kim can run very, very well. So to make this question now for you and about you, Kim or Freeland, when we get that far?
A lot of it depends on how the swing changes go for Kim, because Kim, before he got injured, or maybe because he was injured, Kim, before he went on the injured list, was really bad at hitting. And, what we need to see is how is he hitting? Because before the Dodgers called up Kim this season, he wasn't even hitting super well in AAA. He had started to figure it out, and they called him up, and he hit really well to start with. They put him in good positions to succeed, and he did. But then when it got to the point where he was having to play more regularly because of injuries, he started to get exposed. And maybe that was the injury. Maybe it was being exposed. I don't know. But I'm going to need to see something from Kim. You're right. Kim is faster than Freeland. I think Freeland has a better arm than Kim. We know Freeland can play a good third base. Again, that shouldn't matter once he's back. But late inning defense, it still could matter. Kim can play the outfield, at least theoretically. Freeland hasn't done that. But I don't know that that's going to be that important if Kiké and Edman are both back. So all in all, I think you look at this and, I feel like Freeland has earned the chance to keep going right now and earn this spot, because we've kind of seen Kim, and now we deserve to see Freeland a little bit and see what he can do, because I really like a lot of things about him.
Now, what makes it a more difficult conversation, I think, to have down the road is just, looking at baseline current numbers. You have Hyeseong Kim hitting 304 versus Alex Freeland hitting 226. Of course, that average has shot up over the last 5 or 6 days since he turned it on in Colorado. But we also know Hyeseong Kim was hitting about a $180 over his final 4 weeks or something, which has necessitated yet another shot or another shake at changing the swing, or kind of adjusting the swing for him, because the league adjusted and he was taking too long to adjust back, and was it the shoulder and all that kind of stuff. But all of that said, I agree with the idea that Alex Freeland has earned it more, at this point at least, has earned it more than Hyeseong Kim, which is, again, very tough to say with a dude hitting 304, but not all 304s are built equally, I guess.
Exactly. And like you said, the month of July, Kim played regularly for most of the month of July, and he batted 193 with a 417 OPS in the month of July. He was batting 383 at the end of June, 304 at the end of July. So that's why you can't just look at season numbers. The version of Hyeseong Kim that went on the injured list was bad. Mm-hmm. And we need to figure out if the good version can come back this year or not. And I think maybe the best place to figure that out is in Oklahoma City, see how the swing change is working, and go from there.
And when you come into the talking versatility, like however it may be needed, like you said, you're going to have Tommy Edman. He can play infield. He can play outfield. Kiké Hernandez can play infield, can play outfield. Hyeseong Kim kind of feels like just a second baseman. Maybe he can play some shortstop, but Mookie Betts is going to be there. If he's healthy and breathing and alive, he's going to be playing every inning there in the postseason. Max Muncy obviously has an aching knee. He has an aching oblique. Somebody that can play third base where we haven't seen Hyeseong Kim. It just makes a lot more sense. I think the versatility that Freeland offers, even though it would most likely be Kiké to be the first dude if he's not starting in left or whatever, or the starting left fielder, center fielder, however it works. Kiké is probably going to be that first dude to take down third base in the postseason like we saw him do last year. But having somebody else where if you need to move some levers, as Dave might say, having somebody who could do a little bit more just makes a lot more sense. And just the speed of Hyeseong Kim, I think it's not enough for him to earn that final roster spot. But what do I know?
Yeah, and Kim is probably a better bunter than Freeland too, which could come into play. I do think part of the reason we've seen Miguel Rojas bunting more lately, even when he's batting ninth, knowing it's going to open up a base to intentional Wakotani, is because they're looking ahead to, we might need Miguel Rojas to come off the bench and bunt for us in October. And so maybe because they'll have Rojas on the bench, they don't value that as much, but that could come into play. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Freeland dropping down more bunts, especially batting right-handed over the next few weeks, just to get that practice in, because bunting is one of those things you can practice it in batting practice all you want, but until somebody's throwing a 98-mile-an-hour sinker at you, there's nothing that compares to live practice on bunting. They've been doing it with Rojas. I think we'll see it with Freeland too. But that would be the only other thing that I forgot to mention about Kim, where he might have an advantage over Freeland.
Yeah. The final thing I'll say, the most important thing of all of this, the through line of this entire conversation is we are just days away from no more Michael Conforto. And that's a reason to celebrate, everybody. I think that's a good reason to be happy as the calendar trends towards the month of September. Last thing I had for us to talk about tonight. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. You guys talking some weird shit in the chat, by the way. Just to say it now, if people can stop weirdly talking about Alana Rizzo, be normal for the love of God. I know it's a tough thing to ask for people on the internet, but dude, get over it.
We'll even take internet normal. Not normal. Not go out in public normal, just internet normal even.
It's just some weird shit being said in the chat. So if you guys can stop and make it about this show, the show you're watching, that's cool. It's my co-host over there. I love Riz. Love talking Dodger baseball with her. We'll be talking tomorrow, 12 o'clock Pacific time live. Join us there. Don't be weird in the chat there. Thank you very much. Also, before we shift gears, generally want to thank people for being here on this Sunday edition of the show. We don't shout out enough the people who have picked up listening to the podcast version of it, and obviously people came here for the pretty face, and then you joined, and then people were like, but the people love
pretty faces.
They love your podcast audio. So thank God your crowd found us, and we have built a nice little superpower here, like you and I always thought we would. So I just want to make sure that we now 2 months and change into this, we just take a moment to reflect, and that it's fun working together. I enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to a very short Dodgers postseason. I kid. But it's going to be a lot of fun as we continue forward. I just want to make sure we thank everybody for finding us, following us, supporting us, and all that kind of stuff, especially the people on Patreon, YouTube members. You guys have been phenomenal. Raul says the podcast is his morning routine. We appreciate that.
Let me tell you, Raul, I was just going to say, Raul is here watching live, and he's going to listen again tomorrow morning on his way to work or whatever.
That's super cool.
That's what I need from you guys. You know what? We're doing thousands and thousands. And yeah, the podcast listens have ticked up since I came around. Have I told you about the dream I had about Oral Hershiser that one time? I dreamed that Oral told me that I had a face made for radio and a voice made for newspaper.
Yeah, I remember this one now. Yeah.
So this face made for radio appreciates all you listen on the podcast, it has ticked up, bitch, because you know a lot of people who came over from my old show, that's how you consume it. Those of you watching this live, check it out. It's just as good tomorrow morning, and you can hear all the dumb things we said a second time and say, "Oh, that's just as dumb to this morning as it was last night." There's a lot of value in that, and by value, I mean value to us. So keep doing that. Take Raul's example and listen, and then when you get home from work, pop it up on YouTube and watch the replay again while you get ready. Instead of watching the pregame show on Sportsnet LA or whatever, just watch this again.
Yeah. Again, we're trying to pump out as much content because, one, we enjoy doing it, and I think that comes across. I hope that comes across to people. But we also just have fun talking with people, provided you're not weird in the chat. We have fun talking Dodger baseball with you people, and I think, you and I talked before, and we'll talk more about this on the upcoming members-only live stream or whatever, but this was always our kind of our assumption, our vision of this, my brand coming from the old network or whatever. Obviously it's very tailored towards the YouTube crowd and all that, and being, very chat oriented. I love talking to people about and getting everybody's opinion about the team, and then either telling them, yeah, I agree, or you're wrong. And you are more of, get out of my way. It's my turn to talk. Listen to me on the podcast. But here, I think we found a good synergy, and also Kevin shows up sometimes, so we appreciate Kevin being a part of it.
Who's that now? Who?
Our buddy, our pal, Kevin. By the way, thank you for Richie for bringing it up, because I had it saved, and then I completely slipped my mind, but much, much earlier in the show, Richie left a $9.99 super chat. Richie Flores. It was his birthday yesterday, by the way. He turned much older than all of us, but he's upset at you. He's upset at you taking Glasnow over Kershaw. Imagine that, another thing that Richie and Jeff don't see eye to eye on. But he says, sorry, we don't need him racking up Ks, serve up ground balls, lower a pitch count. Who cares how Kershaw gets us out? He has more mental toughness in his pinky than Tyler Glasnow. I agree with a lot of Richie's sentiment there, personally.
I totally agree. Who cares how you get the outs? I'm just saying it's a lot more. A strikeout is always an out. A ball in play becomes less and less likely the better players you're playing against, and you play against better players in the postseason. So a ball in play is more likely to turn into a not out in the postseason than it is in the regular season. A strikeout will always be a strikeout.
Yeah, turns out that way. Sorry, I got distracted because I love this one from Cole. Has Jeff set the Machado bobblehead on fire yet? But no, we do have a bobblehead update.
Yeah, we do have an update. I pulled the spring. I've been playing with it this whole episode. The spring that makes the head bobble, it's now kind of twisted together. And so now, if you've seen the Tim Robinson sketch where the guy goes in the hospital for surgery and they end up removing his neck, that's what the Machado bobblehead looks like now. It's just, it's just necklace Manny. So his neck is now even less than those chicken legs. But yeah, so no fire yet, just a necklace Manny. That's what we got here.
That is pretty damn good. I enjoy necklace Manny Machado. Let's see. I don't know what button to push. I'll push this one for our final thing or whatever. Let's put the roster talk back on. But I do want to talk about this upcoming series because the Reds are a pretty good team. Segue, huh? The Reds are a pretty good team. They're fighting for a wild card spot. They are probably.
Why don't you just say, hey, we're talking baseball. The Reds are a baseball team.
The Reds, the baseball. You guys like baseball? Big time baseball economic talk.
Manny Machado is a baseball. So is Hunter Green.
He's
pitching tomorrow.
He's pitching tomorrow, going up against Emmett Sheehan. Sheehan, if you're nasty. But there are wild card implications with this series because the Reds, I don't have it in front of me, but last I looked, they are just on the outside looking in at a wild card spot there with the Mets in front of them by like half a game or whatever. It's a big series for them. Old friend Gavin Lux coming to town as well. Big series for him. Gets his World Series ring in L.A. Instrumental part of winning that World Series last year. Of course, he's the guy who did he tie the game or did he give the Dodgers a go-ahead run in that Game 5?
I can't remember. It was.
This is your thing. You remember things.
I know. He hit the sac fly that because Mookie hit a sac. I think. Yeah. Dodgers were down by 2 runs.
That's right. It was a sac fly. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Because Lux and Mookie both hit sac flies. I think Mookie's was the go-ahead one.
Yeah.
But I don't remember for sure. The Reds are currently a game and a half behind the Mets for that last wild card spot. Really, that's everybody who's in contention,
Yeah.
because then you've got the D-backs farther back. And so that's why when people say the Dodgers are going to miss the postseason, I'm like, you're crazy. Like the Dodgers are currently six games ahead of the Reds for that last wild card spot. And, but yeah, the Reds are battling and fighting for something, knowing that the Mets are struggling. The Reds definitely have realistic playoff chances, playoff hopes. And so, and that's why it's important to win the division, because if the Dodgers win the division, then they'll be playing whichever of these teams sneaks into the last wild card spot, which is what you'd rather do than playing a better team.
And this is of playoff teams. This is one of 3 playoff teams the Dodgers are facing the rest of the way. It's the Reds, it's the Phillies, and it's the Mariners to end the season. I think that's it. Yeah. Orioles are bad. Giants are bad. Giants don't even show up on the FanDuel odds anymore, by the way, to win the division. You can't even bet $1 to win 30,000 or however that works, $30. I forget how it works. I'm bad at
$100.
$100.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Interestingly, though, I said that word really well. Tomorrow's game, even though it's Hunter Green against Emmett Sheehan, definite pitching advantage to the Reds if you look at how well these guys have pitched. And yet the Dodgers are minus 142 favorites to win this game.
Yeah.
The Reds are at plus 120, which tells you that this Dodgers offense, at least FanDuel, the bettors still believe in this Dodgers offense, the talent in this offense. One thing I didn't bring up today until right now, I guess, technically. I saw people saying worried about this Padres series because teams usually struggle after leaving Colorado. I wonder how much of the Dodgers struggles the last couple of days have been because they had 4 games at Colorado before. And maybe the farther we get out from that Colorado series, maybe the bats show up. And, it's probably too much to expect them to knock Hunter Green out in the first inning. Mm-hmm. But Hunter Green is a very good pitcher. The Dodgers should be an even better offensive team and should win this game.
Yeah, few people helping us out here, Sarah, including Sarah Morris, says Lux tied that Game 5 of the World Series. We appreciate it.
And Mookie's put them ahead, I think.
And I can still see it now, the fist pump. By the way, I still haven't watched. I know, what a bad person I am. I still haven't watched the Apple documentary thing. So it's eventually on my to-do list.
The Freddie Freeland one, or the one from early that came out on opening day?
Yeah, that one. I haven't watched the Freddie one yet either. I was waiting for the DVD. What happened to World Series DVDs? I feel robbed.
It is kind of weird, but that one, on my old DVDs. Podcast, we had the director of that Apple documentary on and talked about, it's so good. He's a Mets fan.
Tim Apple.
The director is a Mets fan, but he lives in LA, and that you should watch it. There's one episode, because it's 3 episodes. One of them seems like it's designed to make you hate everybody who's ever been from New York, because man, Yankees fans are insufferable. But luckily the Yankees only won 1 game, so the rest of the thing is just about it is so good. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you laugh, cry.
I don't believe in crying. I have no feelings. You got any predictions for this series, by the way? Coming off of another emotionally charged series with the Padres?
Dodgers sweep.
For real, or is that what you hope?
It's definitely what I hope. I think the Dodgers are going to be favored in every game. I think the Dodgers are the better team, and I hope that that's what shows up on the field. I really do think there's something to the whole Colorado thing, and so being another day removed from Colorado, the Reds, if the Dodgers can get to the bullpen, just wear them down, Dodgers should be able to sweep this series.
I got 2 of 3. JRM has 2 of 3. That's where I'm at. I think this feels like sweeping is difficult. And, this is a team that they've been playing a lot of games in a row. They really need that Thursday off day to get here, probably by Thursday. But I'll still take 2 of 3. You just got to win series at this point. Like we said, the Dodgers kind of control their own destiny right now. And the best way to keep a stranglehold on that destiny is at the bare minimum win each series. And again, you're going to play a couple of teams that really want to beat you because you're their World Series, Diamondbacks, Giants a bunch. But, good point here from Cole. Keep Ellie De La Cruz off the off the bases and they sweep. Yeah, that fool can run. But I think that is more than enough. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today on this edition of the show. Strong numbers, strong people staying in the chat the whole time with us. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. Y'all rock. Any final thoughts before I do the very, very long, unnecessary sign off?
No, yeah, hour and 20 minutes, and we've had a ton of people here this whole time. This is more than you asked for, more than you hoped for. Hopefully you appreciated it, and hopefully there's traffic tomorrow morning on your commute so you can listen to the whole episode again. Although podcast, the best thing is once you downloaded it, we got the numbers. Take your time listening to it. It's all about the downloads.
No, still listen to us. Also, I mean, if you want to help out on podcast side, if you guys can leave ratings or reviews on the iTunes and the Spotify, that really does help boost us in those podcast algorithms. Go tell people about us on Facebook forums, on Reddit. SEO stuff
get to work,
Best Dodger Podcast
up on YouTube and just turn down the volume. So you just look. You're here for our looks anyway, so
But either way, those things really do help us out. Not requiring y'all to do that. What we are asking though is definitely hit that like button on the way out. 121 likes live. Let's get this to 250 likes all over. If you didn't hit that like button, do it already. Subscribe to the channel. 20,000 subscribers, and we take our hats off, and that's a cool thing. And he said he's giving away a card. Who was the card again?
It's a Teo rookie card. He is in an Astros uniform because he played like one game with the Astros or something. But this was he wasn't part of the cheaters, and it's Teo's rookie card autographed by Teo himself.
Cool. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us here on this Sunday night. These Sunday night streams can be a lot of fun, especially after a Dodger win and Manny Machado has no neck. I got no neck.
There's no
Carl.
bubble.
Carl thanks us. We appreciate you guys. If you're looking for another way to support us, oh no, he killed him. I've already said so many ways to support us, but check out our Discord, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg, or click the join button here on YouTube to join us on YouTube members. It's $5 a month is the most popular one. That gets you access to the Discord where we are in there talking Dodger baseball with everybody. Fans are in there, a really, really cool community of fans, growing community of fans talking Dodgers all day long, all year long. I'll tell you from experience, the postseason and the offseason are a lot of fun there. So now's the time to get on and join us. That's about it. All Dodgers is presented by FanDuel, part of the Bleav Network of podcasts. That guy over there pointing in the correct direction. I'll give myself a clap for that. That is Jeff Snyder. Give him a follow. Snydog on the Twitter. That guy over there is Real FRG. That is me, Clint Pasillas. Give me a follow on the Twitter, the Instagram, wherever you want. I don't really post too much on Instagram unless it's about drinking or my dog. But we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Or your dog drinking.
He is a good boy. His name is Doobie. He got high one time. We'll tell you that story on Thursday. Okay, bye.